Hi, it's me, Joe. So this week I want to talk about a documentary that's currently running on Netflix called Victim Suspect. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching it, but I will warn you that it might be triggering for some. I watched it and was incredibly angry, which is why I'm doing this video about it now. I will say that this documentary was filmed in the United States, and we do handle things of this nature, crimes related to sexual trauma, a lot differently than they do in the US. However, I just wanted to highlight how difficult it can be for victims to report ever. So I want to talk about this documentary for a minute. So the film crew that did this documentary were able to uncover, I think, about 150 cases. And half of those cases, the victim ended up recanting their statement and being charged with making a false statement and doing a year in jail. Now, these are people who were actually raped, but the police officers were able to turn the tables on these victims and conduct an investigation within hours of these people reporting sexual trauma. And they would ask leading questions like, how much did you have to drink? Why did you go with him or them? Why did you kiss? And it didn't matter what the victim answered. The police would continue to lie to the victim and say something like, well, we have video surveillance that doesn't coincide with your story, so we think you're lying. And they will continue this interrogation until all the victim wants to do is leave. So they recant the story, their truth, not realizing that they are now going to be charged with a crime and sent to jail. So these people have been sexually assaulted, then charged with a crime, and then sent to jail. And this is all because these policemen in this county don't do an investigation. It's deliberate. The victim is often charged within hours of the incident. So it's obvious that no investigation has been done. To do a rape kit takes more than a few hours. To get results from that takes more than a few hours. And these police officers don't bother to look for the perpetrators or interview the perpetrators. They interrogate the victim until the victim breaks down, and then she is charged with making a false claim and ends up doing time in jail. So I thought I would check out how we do it here in Canada. And so while in the States, funnily enough, there is no type of measurement on how often making a false claim, et cetera, occurs. There is absolutely no statistics or data. In Canada, federally, the rate of reporting a false crime is very low, 2 to 4% nationally. So that means that if a victim is reporting to the police, the chances are excellent that that victim is telling the truth. Now, I know some of our police forces in Canada have units that are specially trained to deal with victims of sexual trauma, and this is something that should be implemented across the country in every police force if it is not currently. Because if you don't know how to speak to a victim, you might end up with a victim who recants and a perpetrator that continues to conduct their business, their crimes in their way. If there is a false claim made in Canada, there's two potential crimes. If it is testimony made on the witness stand, it's perjury. If it is making a false affidavit, then it results in a $1,000 fine, 6 months in jail, or both. So we do handle things a whole heck of a lot better here in Canada, but I do believe that when we talk about defunding the police, We're not talking about taking money away from the police budget. We're talking about putting money into resources to help the police deal with actual crimes that are occurring in their communities. Mental health squads, sexual assault or sexual trauma squads, all of those are important tools for effective policing, and that's where the money should be going instead of into the armored tanks, etc. And in my opinion, if that's what defunding means, I am all for it. Now, I'm still looking for my public face and voice, someone that will help me spread the word when it comes to trauma, sexual trauma in Canada, someone who has a much bigger platform than me and has built a name for themselves so that people believe what I am saying, that what we are saying, and that they want to get involved. That's my ultimate goal. I want to end this epidemic of sexual traumatization in Canada, but I need help from somebody with a much bigger platform than me. And I would love it to be someone from one of the organizations that is currently suffering under this epidemic of sexual traumatization, because I truly believe that standing with your victims sends the right message moving forward. Which brings me finally to my last point, and that is I'm talking to you, RCMP, and to you, Hockey Canada, and to you, Canadian Armed Forces, and to you, Film and TV Industry of Canada, and to you, Boy Scouts Canada, and to you, Fashion Industry of Canada, and to you, Roman Catholic Church of Canada, and to you, every other organization and institution in Canada that is currently suffering this epidemic of sexual traumatization. The time is now for you to stand shoulder to shoulder with your victims. There is no going back. You have been caught. There is no passing the buck. There is no burying your head in the sand. The time now is to stand shoulder to shoulder with us, your victims, to effect positive change. I believe that there is strength in unity, and I know that we can take the power back. I thank you for your time. Have a great day.